Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Keith, and no, do not adjust your screen. I am wearing a BC Lions jersey. For those of you who don't know, tonight's game, the Ottawa REDBLACKS hosting the BC Lions, is what I like to call the Keith Whittier Conflict Bowl. You see, ever since I was a little boy, a little adorable boy with an awesome afro, I have always been a big BC Lions fan. Always been, always will be. Regardless of who's wearing the uniform, who's coaching the team, I have always been a huge fan of the Lions. That being said, living in Ottawa, being a huge fan of the CFL as a whole, when the REDBLACKS came to be in the year 2014, of course I jumped on that. Of course I became a season ticket holder. I love having football back in Ottawa, and I'll do absolutely anything I can to support it. But this is one of those days where it's like I feel like I'm torn. I wish I could get somebody to get me a shirt that's like half BC and half Ottawa. I've asked nicely, people say no. But if you know of a good seamstress, please send them my way. So let's talk about tonight's game, shall we? In my opinion, this was one of the best games I have seen in a long time. You had two teams with something to prove. BC coming off of a huge loss to the Calgary Stampeders last week, and Ottawa coming off a huge loss to the Montreal Alouettes. Now, I don't necessarily know what's happening in Vancouver, but I know here in Ottawa, the sky was falling, because it seemed everybody was looking for the scalp of Henry Burris. Everything that was going wrong with Ottawa seemed to be Henry Burris's fault. The offense isn't working well, Henry Burris. The defense isn't working well, Henry Burris. The special teams isn't working well, that's Henry Burris's fault too. And it seemed to extend beyond that. It's like, oh, you didn't get that promotion at work. Oh, that's Henry Burris's fault. You went to the mall and you didn't get a good parking spot? Damn that Henry Burris. I don't take any satisfaction in seeing Ottawa lose. I don't like seeing either team lose. Quite frankly, I would like to see both of them tie in both of these meetings and then go on to play each other in the Grey Cup, which I'm really hoping they do this November. And while I don't take any satisfaction from Ottawa's loss tonight, you have to stop and realize that all of the blaming of Henry Burris was completely misplaced. Because guess what? They lost again tonight. Now, Ottawa played very well. They played a lot better than they did last week. Their defense looked extremely, extremely strong. Their defense made some really good plays, a lot of great sacks against an offensive line which is legitimate. So congratulations to the defense on that. Milo, remember him, Chris Milo, the kicker of the Ottawa REDBLACKS, who has had kind of like wonky outings in the past. When they needed him to come through, he came through. And as far as the offense is concerned, Trevor Harris looked great. 352 yards of passing. He had two receivers who went over 100 yards. He played really well. So what was the problem? They played a really good team. I don't necessarily know if people expect teams to walk into TD Place and roll over, but that's not how it works. The BC Lions, coached by the greatest coach in the history of the CFL, Wally Bono, came in and basically did what they needed to do to get the job done. You can't act like either team was so far ahead of the other. This game could have gone either way. It just happened to go BC's way. So, not Burris's fault that Ottawa was losing, especially since he didn't touch the field tonight, and they still lost. But I think that Ottawa has a lot of great things to build on, and I think people need to, again, jump behind this team and support them. And we didn't necessarily have a quarterback controversy before, but we kind of do now, because Henry Burris was doing a good job. It blows my mind that a first-place team would bench their starting quarterback, but they did. But their backup and Trevor Harris did a great job as well. Here's a funny thing. If you look at BC and Ottawa, both of them have backup quarterbacks who have won Grey Cups, Travis Lulay and Henry Burris. But we're going with the young guns in these games, so it's very interesting to me. Huge props to the BC Lions, who did a really good job. Jennings did a masterful job in terms of moving the ball. Their defense, like Ottawa's defense, stepped up when they needed to. I'm not usually one of these people that likes close games, but I even have to confess, I really, really enjoyed this one. So I've heard mixed emotions from different people in terms of how they felt about the game, and everyone's entitled to their own opinion. My opinion is I thought it was a great game, and I can't wait to see them do it again this fall in Vancouver. As always, hey, guess what? If you ever want to know, like, the days of the week, sometimes it's good to have a calendar. And wouldn't you know that the Ottawa REDBLACKS cheer and dance team have a calendar for you to go out and buy. And check this out. Look at the back of this. Here they are welcoming the REDBLACKS onto the field. Like, that's a supportive team. And I think we need to get out and support them and buy a calendar because they do a lot of great things for our community. So let's make sure we're giving back and supporting them. Ladies and gentlemen, the Keith Whittier Comic Book Bowl is in the books, part 1. Looking forward to part 2. Congratulations to both the Ottawa REDBLACKS and the BC Lions. One of those teams left this game probably a little happier than the other, but both of them should feel extremely proud of how they played because it was much better than both teams played last week. And as a fan, not only of both teams, but of this league, that's the type of game I love seeing. Let me know what you guys think. CFL_fan on Twitter is how you can get a hold of me. Or you can get a hold of me at facebook.com/WhittyWhittier and WhittyWhittier.com. Appreciate you taking the time to check this out. My name is Keith, and that's my view from the 40.